Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details, and we are back with more amazing content from the Creator Summit at Car Supplies Warehouse. In today's video, I get the absolute joy of working with this crazy guy. This is Alan Medcraft from AMDetails. This is a UK-based company. You'll notice in a second he has a really cool Scottish accent. But Alan has extensive history with the IDA, as well as with doing trainings all over the world. He is a master detailer, and he has so much knowledge that he's going to be able to share with us in a very quick video. So make sure you guys pay attention because he has so much knowledge to share with us. But today we're going to actually be discussing how to safely decontaminate your vehicle. This is oftentimes the most critical but overlooked step when it comes to maintaining the exterior of your vehicle. And Alan's going to share some great tips for those of you that maybe you're just the driveway detailer. You want to be able to do this service on your vehicle but not necessarily have to polish the paint afterwards every single time, because when we do a chemical decon, a clay bar treatment, sometimes it can induce some swirls and scratches to your paint if you don't have the right processes. Alan's going to also share with us some tips on how to safely remove tar, road film, tree sap, even water spots without being extremely aggressive on the paint. We'll also see how his iron remover can clean these extremely gross and neglected wheels. So grab a snack and a drink and sit back and enjoy.
There's nothing worse than you pull it on the trigger in the video and it's like, no, 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 yay! So it's preloading.
So this car is nasty. We're just doing a proper decontamination on it, correct?
Right, yeah.
Why is it important to do a decontamination?
Well, so we can wash this up, we can pre-wash it, do the soap, whatever, but we're still gonna leave around loads of bonded contaminants.
Okay.
And some people will just come straight in with their favorite clay bar.
Yeah.
You're just gonna load all that contamination up in your clay bar, potentially induce marine. Imagine this beautiful vehicle.
Yeah.
With being machine polished, ceramic coated. We don't wanna be rubbing things over it we don't need to. So
Okay.
today we're gonna go over liquid decontamination and then safe clay barshing.
And how often do you have to do it?
Oh, okay. So depends what you got going in there. I say about every 4 to 6 months, depends on the condition of the car.
Okay.
So is it a daily commuter? Is it a garage queen? If it's a coating, you want to make sure those coatings are declogged. Mm-hmm. So you have like your lotus effect happening in all your fibers. And if we get rubbish between the fibers, they stick together. That's a flat surface the water sits on. You want the fibers to be free, and that's when they'll sit up. So declogging them is we need to get down in between those fibers and pull out all the rubbish.
Okay.
And most of that can either be tar, or when we're using a fallout remover, remove an iron, but the acid is going to do the deep clean, the reaction part. And as a detailer, it's a fantastic way to have your customer keep coming back. It's recurring revenue. Like, I've done this to your vehicle, let's maintain that. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're just doing very quick polishes, glaze fills, and waxes. Mm-hmm. There's nothing detrimental to that clear coat. Right? So if you've got someone that's thin clear coat or doesn't have the budget to be in that area, or it's a classic car, something they want to preserve, they don't want to be taking lots of clear coat off of it or taking lots of paint residue off of it, a long life protection. Yeah. That's where this service sits perfect. So whatever you're going to call it over here, your express detail, whatever it's going to be, it's perfectly safe to do that every 4 to 6 months. The customer's delighted in the look of the car and you're delighted in the money in the bank.
All right, let's do it.
Put some ABC on here. We want to try and remove as much of the dirt and grime, and it's a bit rough, and for this demo we only wanted to look at decon. We thought we'd give you guys a Billy bonus and just chat whilst we're doing this. In this environment in here, you could leave APC on for a very long time.
Now if you are outdoors in direct sunlight?
Outdoors, direct sunlight, I usually tell everyone it's the amount of time it takes you to get around the car.
Okay.
Right, so by the time I've got around the car with this APC product, I'd be coming back to pressure washing it off.
Now, does it help if you pre-spray it with water to prevent staining?
I am a water pre-sprayer.
Yeah.
Come over to the US, a lot of guys are like, oh, we're not big fans of doing that. So just here for this market, I'm putting chemical direct on a car in this environment. I
am a fan of pre-spraying with water because that's less chance of staining.
Especially as an outdoors, mostly driveway or garage.
Yeah.
I would pre-rinse everything. Water's free where I come from, and we can get a lot of dirt off, and then it's less work for this to do on the stuff it doesn't have to work on. Okay. Now, if we rinse this off, the dirt that's on there is stubborn. It needed something to get it off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I pressure wash from the bottom up. Whenever I'm doing a chemical-induced thing, because if I rinse from the top down, I might miss a spot. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is when you're running your pressure washer along a vehicle, the pressure is going to come through the pre-wash, hit the paint, and pull the dirt off. So I want this pressure to hit every part and not miss a bit. Especially if you're someone that's just doing a quick wash, and maybe just using like those $1 machines at a drive-through before a car show or something.
Yep.
This is exactly what I've done here would have been perfect for that scenario.
Okay.
So just starting from the bottom, make sure we got our pressure.
Why is it hydrophobic and so dirty?
Right? This car
This
is
is just
incredible.
very confusing.
So it's got protection on it, but it's had a hard life. For a pros, right, I would be putting a product like this in a pump sprayer. Working your way around the car with your pump sprayer. I like your spray can technique. That's exactly what we need. The flick of the wrist really helps spread the product around. But
Well,
for
you're
the
not
home,
wasting as much.
right, but for the home user, that's exactly why we made this product the way it is. You get everything you need. You get the trigger. Out the gate, you can just use this product. It's pretty safe. And even when we were talking about it drying out in the sun, it takes the worst scenarios ever for this product to do any damage. It's not going to make you cough or go when you're using it.
Yeah, it does have a nice scent to it. Some of them are like really, you feel like you're dying as soon
and
as
it
you breathe
sits
it in.
at pH 9.5, so it's not like a super high alkaline. That's how we made this product the way it is, so you can pretty much use it safe on everything, but it has enough bite to do what you want it to do.
You want me to rinse?
Yeah.
This is just a visual demonstration of how a pressure washer can make a big impact when it comes to safely washing your vehicle. A standard hose is not going to have near as much force, and when you combine a pressure washer and a quality foaming pre-soak, you're going to be able to remove road film and heavier buildup of dirt a lot easier, so that way your contact wash is going to be much safer. This is even just going to help kind of loosen tar before we come up and do our tar treatment.
So the next thing I would do if it's in my shop, so we've done an APC, we've took a good bit of stuff off the car.
Yep.
Like we said, this has got protection on it, but she's had a tough life. You've took off a lot of the stuff. So next up, I'd be going on with a snow foam. Now this is a pH 13 snow foam.
Okay.
Right, so it is ready to rip through this. So why did we do APC first?
Why is it wax safe in a pH of 13?
Because it's what you're using to reach the pH.
How?
So if you
that
imagine,
seems like a conundrum.
Right, so well, here's pH 2, Coca-Cola. Have a drink. Enjoy.
Okay.
Right, here's pH 2, folic acid. Still both pH 2.
I know.
Which one are you going to drink?
Not well.
So it's how
now you're
reaching.
making me feel very
What ingredients
questionable
are
about
in it?
drinking
No,
that Coke
so-
earlier.
Right, no. So it's definitely a thing of, it's a great guide to look at for basics of safety.
Okay.
But also there are chemicals in the industry that the ingredients is how you're getting the activity level of the pH without them being harsh. So you can get really nice safe products as can be in that pH range to make your products.
I'm gonna do about there or more. You
Just
want
send it,
watching?
I'll knock it back.
Should I just screw the foam cannon onto that?
Yeah, straight on. Don't use AM. It's
Don't
not
you
very
love?
efficient.
Don't you love when people do that in videos? They're like, "We'll just screw the foam
Don't
cannon
dish
to
straight
the
on.
straight up soap."
Let's see what happens.
Let's do it.
All right, kid. Usually I can cover a car in about 3 passes,
Yep.
but the reason for that, especially like I was saying before, you're mostly a at-home driveway detailer.
Yeah.
We don't want to be putting shed loads of chemical on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's how can I just hit the car, so that we're keeping it where the focus is. Because we need to think about things as well as once we're finished our wash process, especially if you use acid and you don't neutralize that and leave someone's driveway, there's acid on it. So you want to contain your wash area.
Yeah.
So afterwards you can neutralize before rinsing away.
I always do. My babies are walking barefoot in that.
So that's why I wanted to talk about, I know we're spitting on the side, but that's why I wanted to talk about, some people put snow foams on too thick. And what ends up happening is the gravity pulls it off the car. I like the thickness just to be the right, so it goes on and then sticks, and that's where it stays. If you go on too thick, you'll notice it comes down in big clumpy layers.
Yeah.
Dragging off the car is not cleaning. You need the blanket to sit on the car, stay where it is, and keep working. The pressure washer will take it off,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
So now we need to do a contact wash with your bubbles.
Yes, if you're filling up your buckets like this, I like to do about 2 big caps.
Okay.
But to be honest, it doesn't really matter. It's a pH neutral shampoo.
Okay.
You're not going to do any damage. For me, lubrication is key. We're going to physically now remove dirt from this car. We want as much lubrication as we can get.
Okay.
But the more shampoo soap you use, the more rinsing you got to do, because you got to get all that shampoo.
You load her up and I'll wash her down. I gotta do something in this video. Now, is there a right or a wrong way to wash a car?
Everyone says you should do it. Your old man says from the top down and yada, yada, yada.
Is
Follow
it-
the flow of the car, yada, yada, yada. whatever makes you comfortable. But like I say, this is when I say to a lot of people, what are you charging the customer for? What are you delivering? You know what I mean? If you're someone charging crazy money and you're saying it's going to take me 3 hours just to do the wash and you're charging for it, what's the problem if you have a customer base that wants that, right? But then if you're I'm doing express detail, I need this thing washed and in within half an hour, ready for a quick buff. What technique are you going to use?
Because of the nature of the Creator Summit and what we were doing with these videos, we had a lot of videos to do in a short amount of time. And so I was speeding through this, just trying to get the dirt off as quickly as possible to be efficient. But for those of you that are in your driveway or your garage, I highly encourage use that 2-bucket wash method. For those of you that are wanting to just reduce the amount of scratches on your paint, being able to put your soapy mitt in that water first to rinse it off, then your soapy water is going to really keep it a lot safer.
Rinse that down.
So far we've applied the APC, rinse that off. We did our high pH foaming pre-soak, rinse that off, followed by a pH neutral contact wash, rinse that off, and now we're ready to actually decontaminate the paint.
The paint looks a lot brighter. Now, does it matter what step in the wash process you do the chemical decon? I know some people, they get confused with that.
So to give you an example, in Norway they do tar first before even a pre-wash.
Okay.
Because their roads are made of tar that comes off in large chunks like your thumbnail.
Oh, wow.
So if you imagine, you try and do the wash you've just done, you're almost going to pick chunks of tar off. So first thing they do is rinse it down, tar on, rinse the big chunks of tar off, then they do the normal wash. I know a lot of guys, if they're going to do express detail or turn this around, they would have, instead of using soap and the 2-bucket wash, they had to pre-rinsed it, then just put my iron on.
Okay.
And the reason the iron's really thick like a soap,
Okay.
and it's because it's going to go on and it's lazy, instead of working exactly where the metal is and doing a small acidic reaction there, they'll just spray it all over the car. Now the light dirt might have rail dust metal in it that isn't bonded, but it'll still have the reaction, so you end up acid washing the car.
Okay.
It's a way of really stripping the car back.
What's your favorite way to do it?
Me?
Yeah.
This way. I like to go through all the different steps. It's the way my shop's always done it.
Okay.
But there's, you know, different scenarios, different strokes for different folks. For me, it's what we've done now. We would then do a tar session. So tar first, use a microfiber to agitate that tar. The reason, the type of service I would usually do is it's fully corrected and I'm doing a maintenance wash and don't want to induce damage.
Okay.
So I would remove the tar. Some iron removers you can use in the market will start to loosen tar, and I don't want those chunks in my microfiber. So that's why I do tar first.
Okay.
Tar first, and then I would do my iron afterwards. I agitate it with a 2-bucket method to pull all the iron out into the mitt, get the most out of your iron. That's why we like our soapy, and thick. Then I'd rinse that down, then I'd clay bar.
Okay.
The reason we can't use tar removers here is shipping tar removers across water is a difficult task.
You know microfiber?
Well, this has a cool like little lock, see?
Yeah, it's like, it's safety proof, but I couldn't open it the first time.
So for me, it's, let's make sure it's loaded up. I spray tar removers onto the vehicle first where we're gonna use it, right? And let it work, so lower the door. So one thing you gotta watch is, of course, if you're doing this on a hot day, etc., maybe just do a bit of the car, rinse it down. And then the other thing I like to do is load up my microfiber that I'm going to use to remove it. The reason is now if I'm picking up large chunks of tar, they'll melt whilst in here rather than being a chunky piece in my microfiber. Your microfiber, when you wipe on the surface of a car, you leave like this really nice thin wet film. And if there was any tar, it'll poke up through this and it becomes really obvious. So a lot of people when they do the tar removal, I know we're doing a demo video, but if I was to do real life, many people that are businesses would just start doing this. And they're on the hustle. Let's get this thing clean, right?
Yeah.
And they just go through the process and don't really check. And then you got to tar it again, or the clay bar is going to pick up. I find it's faster if we just wipe and you're just looking through the wipes. You're not actually, you'll see what sticks up through. So then if you missed a bit, you can go back and go, oh, there we go. So does it make sense when I say like you look through the film it leaves?
Yeah.
And you can see the high spots. But I think whoever owns this, as much as it looks like it's rough and has a hard life, does regularly detar it, and then they're topping up the protection.
With liquid Crisco, whatever.
I'll get a pressure washer.
Ew.
But live is how I like to roll.
What's that?
I like live.
This is so gross.
Iron fallout remover. Here's the big test. In the bottle, does it smell like Bum Bum?
No.
It smells like Bum Bum to me in the bottle, but it doesn't when you spray it.
Maybe Fruity Pebbles and a little Bum Bum.
A little bit of bum.
But I know that this product, when you aerosol it,
yeah, so once it hits the air,
it smells like Fruity Pebbles.
To remove the smell, which is really cool. So I'm just going to preload the trigger up.
All right,
is it coming?
fingers crossed it actually shows us any reaction.
Here we
because
go,
this
right?
car is just becoming
So,
an enigma.
Here's another reason we use these fluorescent colors in this and in the wheel cleaner.
Okay.
So way back, we made the wheel cleaner like 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys had the same here in America, but everyone was taking wheels from their cars and powder coating them black because manufacturers didn't do it.
Yep.
And we couldn't see where the product was. Because
Okay.
back then, so it was just like, So we now use fluorescence in these so we can see where the product is when you've got it on
That's
difficult
not, especially
vehicles.
on a white car.
Right? So I'm just doing a quick flick and flow. I know we're only going to do half this bonnet.
How is it on black cars? Can you see it on
Yeah,
black?
because it's fluorescent, so
That's
it just
cool.
fluoresces off the black.
Because normally it's so unsatisfying
Right?
when you do a chemical decon on a red or black or darker colored car.
So just remember that little wrist flick because it is quite a viscous product. Because if not, it will just do like a splat,
Yep.
right? And it will just, and you've got to sit like that. So if you do a flick, you'll get this nice spray. And this works in a pump sprayer if you want to use it in a pump sprayer.
Do you want to use a clay bar or a clay towel?
I'm a bar. We
Clay
should
bar.
have a bar here.
We have a bar right here. Plus
So
my
leave
hands.
that on there. We're having a conversation. Mr. Cameraman, does it smell of poo?
Smells great.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the comical, no, with the camera like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Right, so now we're in here and it does have that nice fruity scent. We can hold a conversation, mobile person, or in your home, doing your home detailing, you're not going to annoy the neighbors with this product.
Or my husband.
Or your husband,
Because
right.
he literally will tell me go inside and shower.
And we've done
when I know
about
the chemical decon.
1/3 of the car.
Did we
and
do
as
the
you can
trunk?
see, we're about this much, so yeah, I'll go do the trunk now. So the thick viscous of it, it does last really well.
Ooh, it's
gonna
already
work.
reacting.
It's going to work on the car now. It's thicker, so it dries out less. But as you'll see, many people would now just rinse this off
No.
once it's worked.
Such a waste.
I like to go back to 2-bucket with
Agitate
my wash
it.
mitt, and it's like a soap. So if you did quite a fast, lazy pre-wash, it's terrible as it sounds, and you're going to machine, you can do quite a good wash with this now, like really get in and around everything with the iron fallout remover. That's why some people use this as a soap. They'll literally just APC rinse, throw this on, and use it as a soap.
So does it have a soap base to it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So we had to completely reformulate this one. I originally tried to do it with an iron remover and just add scent, and I couldn't do it. So the only way we could do this with doing the scent remover in it was to reformulate and base it on a soap rather than a cleaner.
That's really cool design though. Not
Yeah.
a lot of, no other companies have that.
Not many.
Most of them are pretty thin or they're super
Oh,
thick.
mama. Already we're reacting.
Look at.
All right, so whilst that's working, you any questions?
So, what is the reaction?
Oh, it's an acidic reaction.
Okay.
So not a lot of people know that. If you have an iron fallout remover and the manufacturer will say, hey, this is a pH neutral product, it's perfectly safe in your car, yes, in the bottle it's a pH neutral product. The reaction to make this happen is acidic. So what we want to happen is this is on here, it's going to flow down the car. Whenever it reaches something that's phosphorus or metallic, it's an acidic reaction because we want to generate a little bit of heat to expand the paint to allow that metal chunk to come out.
Okay.
And then it's going to start dissolving it. When the dissolving reaction happens, that's when you see the purple. You can get metal fallout removers that'll do this without the color. It's the same chemical reaction. It's the same reaction, we just use a different chemical to create the acid heat.
So do they put that in it for the visual effect?
No, it's not a visual effect, it's just a different chemical. So you'll know that chemical's being used. This is a side effect of that happening. if you know what I
Okay.
mean. And then ones that aren't so expensive, you'll see them, bulk ones, they'll say this is a metal fallout remover, be really heavy, because them out the tin are acidic.
What are your thoughts on people skipping a chemical decon and using an acid like wheel cleaner for this step? Is that dangerous on the paint?
It can be, it's horses for courses, right? Like I said before, as in the scenario, for example, if you've got a heavy limescale car, a little tip I got shown was using like heavy acid remover and glaze, mix it together. So instead of spraying an acid over, so we know we've got to use a nasty product, but we want to control it, use it more like a tool. You mix it with a polish, so then when you put the polish somewhere, it's just mainly a carrier for the acid, instead of spraying acid on glass, plastics, everywhere.
That one is like, it looks like a little fishy swimming uphill.
How many people we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No one smells poo-poo.
It is one of the better smelling ones that I've worked with. To get on your skin?
Yeah.
Because I had someone yell at me on my channel. They were like,
so,
don't touch
100%,
the chemical
right?
decon.
100%, I would have gloves on now.
Yeah.
If I'm doing this all day, every day, I wear gloves. But it's just because of like my skin condition, everything's going on with me. Yeah.
Okay.
But just because we're doing a little ninja in session, I'll just go wash my hands.
All right, so then let's go do the clay bar. Now you wash this.
No, I wash this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to wash it?
So what I would do now is the same 2 buckets. So we imagine this is outside. It's you on your driveway.
Yep.
You can't control the conditions of the day. It might be a little bit windy. This is a thick, viscous product. Dust will come and go and stick to this.
Yep.
Right? So this is why I like to just use my 2 buckets as I had before. Sometimes if I know it's a cold day and I want a little privilege, I'll go and fill up my hot one again.
Okay.
You know, just so, for me, I want a nice hand. So now I just, the exact same you did before your wash technique, but
but wait, there's more.
But you're gonna use that tar method I looked at. So it's a bit more difficult on this one because there's a lot of iron.
Okay.
If you'd have come to a vehicle and there was like specks of iron, when you wipe, look where the speck of iron is. If the orange is gone, great. If it isn't, you have a fully loaded mitt full of iron. You can just agitate that and you'll take it away rather than having to do a second iron hit.
So a slow.
A little bit slower. So you're doing your 2
Considerate.
bucket, you know, and you're now, I'm trying to remove this. And it's, you know, you can get stuck in. You've got quite a padded out wash mitt there. Good bit of positive pressure. And you can take all this off. And just do your normal wash as you would do, but you're watching for, have I managed to get the metal off? You'll see it with the big chunks.
Looks significantly different.
Right.
I can actually see there's like a metal pearl flake in this paint.
Yeah, and then just use your 2 buckets. So if this did get dust, grime or anything on it, and you can use it like a soap. So then once you even have done your iron decon, you'll probably feel this is quite slick, right?
It is, and my mitt almost like wiped out underneath of me.
Yeah, it's a really nice soap solution base.
I think I'm gonna have to change my process now.
Yeah, you can get stuck in about now. So instead of doing that, sorry, I'm cutting you short, but I'm coming to the point where I find a lot of detailers at the snow foam session are getting in around this car with a 1-inch detailing brush.
Yeah.
And they're picking up all this dirt that hasn't been removed yet and rubbing it around the car. Whereas I like to wait until all this is done. So now this is done, you can start pulling some of the dirt out of the side in your nice big mitt. It's nice and safe with agitated on.
Yeah, that was my niece.
Whereas a lot of people would just get a 1-inch detailer, go straight around this when there's surface dust, and just create a circle of scratches around all the...
Well, and I mean, I normally will clay towel if I'm polishing, because you know, I'm looking to be efficient. But if you have a ceramic coating, you don't want a clay towel.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be dangerous. So
the AMDetails brand
adds so much slickness.
Right. The AMDetails brand and process is about, was originally designed to look after the vehicle you've had protected by us. So that's why we have this. You do this technique now, someone's got a nice plush mitt, removing whatever iron fallout is on their ceramic or whatever. They're getting a deeper clean, declogging their coating, job done.
There's some like really thicker ones that we'll
have
to...
the trade guys pick it up.
We'll have to
so if we come in and have a look, these are the bigger, chunkier ones, right? So you can either, we leave the iron on there to work, or you can just come back and have a go at it. So we have this mitt here, hopefully we've got enough iron fallout, and we'll just come back and go, okay, we can take that away now. We're washing the car.
You teached me something, Alan. I'm gonna have to change my process. I like that.
Right? And we keep this like iron loaded up in here, or you wash it back out. But now I got my iron in here, I can maybe come back, have a look at that. See if we can get them to go away. Now the clay bar, when you rub it on the surface, has only got that to worry about.
Yes.
It's not got everything you had before.
So way less chance of marring.
So like Alan said, there's a lot of different ways to go about approaching this task, and based on the service that you're looking to have done, you might not necessarily need to go to this length of care, especially if the vehicle is already in pretty rough condition. But if you have a newer vehicle, or maybe you're not quite so confident in your polishing skills and you don't want to have to induce a lot of marring from your clay bar step, this is a great technique to consider that's going to be a lot more conservative on the paint.
Look at that rear end.
Woo!
And you'll find that might get clogged up and actually get a bit sticky, and that's when you got to rinse it out. You know what I mean?
It is getting a little bit. I noticed that.
And here's just a quick side-by-side comparison of what his iron remover can do to clean extremely filthy. I mean, these wheels were caked on with brake dust. I don't know the last time that they were cleaned, but we sprayed on his iron remover, let it dwell. You could see it was absolutely satisfying purple bleeding. Agitated one side with the mitt and then rinsed off. And you can see, even if we were to do touchless, it's going to make a huge impact at the cleaning capabilities because of just the power of the acid within the solution. But it's a great wheel cleaner, but a great way to also decon your wheels.
So when you get these, what I like to do is just cut the tape.
Yeah.
Cut away from yourself, Alan. All right. So that we have it like this. So now you have a pouch. Come on over. Now we have like a little pouch in here where the clay bar sits, and this is going to stop the clay bar sticking to the container.
Okay.
All right. So as long as we keep it in this, we're good. So then what I like to do is chop it into about 4 little pieces, like this. And this is just so dangerous. Not for me. I'm not cool enough for big boy knives.
Do you want me to rinse this chemical decon off?
And now I have a perfect little chunk of tar. Yeah, chunk of, yes please.
Take your time, let's just clay bar the hood.
Yeah, that's what we gotta do, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll let the rest of this go.
Clay bar, soft, malleable, you just need water as a lubricant. Don't need to use dedicated lubricant.
Okay.
If you're one of those people that wants to put a snow foam on, great. I like to hold it in about the tip of my fingers, and I use the palm of my hand to feel how much contamination's on here. Not a lot, come feel this, that's smooth. We're just talking about don't scratch the surface, and now we're rubbing it.
I can feel a little.
Right?
A little.
So then this is on my fingertips, and my palm feels that there's contamination. Then I'm able to go back and get a bit if I missed it. So we just clay this up like this. And then we see what we got, and we've just got a little bit of contamination, not much going on.
That trunk area. Right. You can plan all the best videos, but when it comes down to it, it's up to the car gods.
Oh, look at this.
The trunk section of your vehicle is always going to have the heaviest amount of rail dust and contaminants on it just because of the nature of driving. As it kicks up dirt and brake dust, it's going to just really sit heavy on that back end. But you can see we have orange around the perimeter. When you have a buildup of rail dust, just fold it over and continue to clay bar. So the Creator Summit from Car Supplies Warehouse not only allowed me the amazing opportunity to work with some great vendors like Alan, but it allowed me to learn some new techniques to be able to share with you guys. And yes, this is Jason Otterness from Chicago Auto Pros. He's getting ready to do the next video in this bay with this vehicle, so we only had an hour for each of these videos to try to share with you guys techniques or some tips that we thought would be beneficial for you guys. So hopefully you've been able to learn, but at this point, rinse your vehicle, dry it off. You can either apply your topper or your protection, and you're done.
So when it comes to decontaminating your car, and honestly just basically taking care of your car,
Simple wash.
it doesn't require much, but it's going to go a long way with preserving the finish of your vehicle, helping your protection last longer. It's going to save you money in the long run.
Right.
Very basic tools.
Yeah, and it's perfect, these tips and tricks for you guys that are on a driveway, detailing at home.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll put the link to all the products that we use down below, but give us a thumbs up, and thank you, Alan, for doing this video with me. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed the accent. It was just highly enjoyable to listen to him talking.
That's all she wanted from me.
This is the point in the video when Jason walked in on my outro. We were done with our time slot. We had to wrap up the video, but I so enjoyed getting to know Alan, working with his products. He's a phenomenal, hilarious guy. I encourage you guys, check out his products. He really knows his stuff.
Why can't you just...
No, because I want to show you a tip that people can do with these things. Oh, I can be manly.
I normally say the power of Thor, and I just break it in half.
What I would have you do is just have this here, and I'll go,
I'm not going to do that.